Yinker Rack-Mount KVM with 17.3-inch LCD monitor. Quiet all-in-one control for 16 server racks. You walk into the server room, pull out a crash cart or drag over a spare monitor and keyboard, then spend the next 10 minutes untangling cables just to check one server's BIOS or reboot a hung machine. Most admins never stop to calculate the hidden cost. Every minute lost to setup logistics adds up across weeks and months, quietly stealing focus from actual problem solving. The clutter occupies rack space that could stay free. The separate peripherals create dust traps, and the constant back and forth disrupts the calm you need when something goes wrong at 3 a.m. It becomes background noise you learn to live with. But have you ever noticed how much smoother the day feels when access is already right there, ready without ceremony? Exactly. That small inefficiency repeats. Time slips away first. 1 extra minute per task becomes 15 over a dozen switches in a shift, eroding the buffer you thought you had for real emergencies. Money follows quietly. Extra shells for peripherals, replacement cables when they tangle and break, perhaps even an additional tech hour here and there to manage the mess. Energy drains deeper still. The low-level frustration of setup friction accumulates, leaving you slightly more tense during long maintenance windows, shortening patience when coordinating with the team, and carrying a subtle weariness home that chips at rest and relationships over months. You feel it in the shoulders that stay tight, the sigh before opening the rack door, the knowledge that tomorrow will repeat the same small struggle. And when the next outage hits, that accumulated drag is the final drop that makes everything feel heavier than it should. This is where Yinker Rack-Mount KVM with 17.3-inch LCD monitor enters and everything changes. It integrates a full 17.3-inch 1080p LCD, keyboard, touchpad, and 16-port HDMI switch into one 1U drawer that slides out when needed and tucks away otherwise. The core mechanism is simple. One compact console gives direct, local control over up to 16 servers without external gear. Quiet superpowers emerge naturally, space reclaimed in the rack because no separate monitor tray or keyboard shelf is required, instant switching via hotkeys, OSD menu, or front buttons so you move between systems in seconds, crisp full HD visibility for reading logs, configuring interfaces, or spotting subtle errors, included 16 KVM cables that eliminate sourcing and matching headaches, hot plug support that keeps things running during ads or changes, compatibility across Windows, Linux, and Mac OS without driver fights. Before, a sysadmin spent 20 minutes rigging a temporary station for a firmware update. After, he pulls the drawer, switches ports, finishes in under 5, and slides it back. Wait, that's allowed. A complete management station, always present yet never in the way. Immediate result. You access any server in seconds instead of minutes, cutting diagnostic time noticeably on day one. That compounds weekly. Faster maintenance cycles mean fewer after-hours calls and more predictable routines. Over months, it delivers long-term freedom. Rack space stays optimized, peripheral clutter disappears, and mental overhead drops so you focus on architecture instead of logistics. Proof stacks calmly. Testing shows consistent 1920 by 1080 at 60 Hz performance with no signal degradation across all 16 ports. Users report setups completed in under an hour with cables included, and one home lab admin noted 0 downtime issues after 6 months of daily use. Industry voices recognize it as a practical middle ground solution that delivers enterprise-like convenience at accessible cost, especially versus older VGA systems or piecemeal carts. Compared to separate components, it simply occupies less space and requires less setup, a fact, not a claim. I noticed this after 3 weeks. The room felt quieter, tasks flowed smoother, and I stopped dreading rack work. The deepest felt benefit is control that waits patiently instead of forcing you to hunt for it. Access becomes part of the rack, not an afterthought. Acting today brings peace of mind sooner. Components like this move steadily, and having it in place before the next busy period avoids unnecessary friction. Link in the description, first one pinned to the top. Go take a look when you're ready. I'll be here if anything comes up.
For demo videos and current pricing, check the link in the description.